All right, we're going to kick things off. Welcome to another edition of the Saints Information Webinar Series. I'm your host, John Kunz. I'm the Director of Upper School Admission at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School. And as always, it is great to see you here this evening. Tonight, we're going to be joined by the members of our College Counseling Department. And they are going to unpack some of the secrets that help our students really successfully navigate the college admission process here at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School. So for tonight, I'm going to quickly walk through our agenda for this evening before I turn things over to our director of the college office. We will start with the introductions of those members of the college office. We will then walk through the philosophy behind how the college counseling department approaches the work that they do. Then we'll move to the value add of this particular department. We'll then go into the different grade levels and the focus on what they share with students at the certain grade levels. Then we'll dive into the partnership that we have with colleges and universities, followed by an opportunity to hear from a couple of our students about their experience going through the college admissions process here. And then we'll wrap things up with a question and answer at the end of the evening. But without further ado, I would like to turn the stage over to our director of the College Counseling Department, Dr. Mike Carter. Dr. Carter.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks, John. I appreciate the introduction. You will get to meet all three of us on the college team, and we truly do work as a team in the office. The three of us work solely as college counselors. That is our role. Our duties in the school are to deal with the college process, support families and students at every step of the way. Really, our mission, our goal is to try and find the right fit for every student and every family as they go through this process. The college process is extremely complex and competitive these days. Our students work extremely hard and deserve as many options as opportunities as possible. And it's our privilege to be able to assist with the students as they take that next step in their educational journey beyond St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School. So you want to hit the slide there? Okay. So what is it exactly that we do? We'll talk specifically, and my colleagues will speak specifically about some of the grade level pieces that we do in the college process. But it truly is an individual journey for each student that begins, that's beginning right now. As students looking to St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School, they're weighing options. They're trying to figure out what is the best educational environment for me. Where can I be pushed and challenge myself, but also be successful? And that experience is going to be extremely valuable to them when they take that next step. And we're here to help guide them along that individual journey. The student that makes the most of their high school experience is the one who will be the best served in the college process, because ideally it should just unfold naturally. There'll be opportunities and experiences that they have in high school that will inform their college path. Now, on the flip side of that, and that's internally, and I know you've heard a lot of great things about St. Stephen's and St. Agnes and the excellent preparation that our students get, both academically and extracurricularly. But on the outside, externally, the college admission process is constantly changing. I was laughing with a couple of colleagues of mine in the field. We were reminiscing that it wasn't too long ago when everybody was worried about the past SAT change. The format was going to change, and they had announced it about 3 years in advance. And that was the big change that was coming up for the decade in college admissions. And everybody was very hyped up about that one single change. All of us kind of laugh at that right now, because currently it is things change weekly, if not daily, with the college admissions process, and it's very important for families to have somebody that's connected and knows what's going on outside. And we're fortunate to have excellent relationships with our colleagues on the other side of the desk who work for universities and colleges around the country, so that we can stay up to date on that. So having that inside information about the culture of our school, uh, I would say that the three of us on the team represent over a half century of experience uh, in the school, and we know the school culture extremely well. We know the faculty, we know the courses, and as you'll see in a few minutes, we're a big part of student advising, academic advising. Um, but as we go from that, knowing the inside, knowing the school, we, like I said, we focus our whole attention on college counseling. And the biggest part of that, and the greatest privilege that we have, is getting to know the students. So we get to know the students as individuals. So we know the school, we know the faculty, we know the culture of St. Stephen, St. Agnes, and we get to know the students. And then the flip side of that is we know the landscape and how it's changing up to the minute. You put those things together, and it allows us to customize the college process for each student and family to, again, help us fulfill that mission of finding the right fit and creating as many options and opportunities for the students and their families as possible and that they deserve. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Doyle, the Associate Director of College Counseling, and he's going to talk about step by step how we deal with the ninth graders.
Hold on. See, I told you, Mr. Kuntz, I was going to be that man from the TV show. I was muted. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. As Dr. Carter said, I'm Tim Doyle. I'm the Associate Director of College Counseling. I primarily work with families in the N through Z portion of the alphabet. We do divide it up a little bit, so that way you and your child know exactly who you can reach out to if you have questions at any point. I'm tasked tonight with talking a little bit about ninth grade and also 10th grade. At the ninth grade level, the college office is really involved with students in their course selection process. Believe it or not, we meet with every single incoming new student, as well as all of our current 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. We have it staggered throughout the springtime, so that way we can have an individual meeting with every student and a parent or parents and talk to them about course selection for the next school year. At the ninth grade level, we really want our kids to focus on two major areas. First and foremost is to make a wonderful academic transition to the upper school. There's a reason why students come to us for the small individual classes. There's a reason for that, so you can reach out to teachers. So we really encourage our kids to be self-advocates and to reach out to their classroom teachers if they need any help or assistance. But the academic piece is first and foremost. You know, freshman year does count. It starts to count. So we want to see those grades and see the best grades possible there. Also, we encourage our students to get involved. Get involved in the life of your new school. If there are activities that you've done before in middle school or in high school that you would like to continue with, that's great. But it's also a great time, if you're coming in new, to maybe start something you've always wanted to, or to try something you never tried before. From the college side, they're not looking for a student to have yards and yards of different types of activities. What they're looking for is for students who make a commitment to a couple of activities and stick with those for their 4 years of high school. And by their junior and senior year, they're starting to showcase some leadership in those activities. And from our office's perspective, we also take advantage of advisory time that's scheduled throughout the week. And then also we encourage our students to do that as well, to connect with their peers in that advisory and also with their academic advisor. Move on to the 10th grade. Super. Again, we are helping with course selection. And again, the grades and the involvement piece continues throughout all of upper school. For our office, we host a special evening for our 10th graders and their parents. We do a case studies night, which families will be looking at admission files to a fictitious college in which you will be making some admission decisions. We invite our friends from the other side of the desk to come in and hang with us at night and actually help us to run the event. And so you also get to hear their advice and some sage wisdom from them as well. It's a fun night for both the students and also the parents. At the 10th grade level in the fall, we also introduce our students to our system, which is called SCORE. It's a strength and career assessment really for the beginning. It's an amazing program that's linked up to U Science, where students will be doing a series of activities that will give them some pointers as to what their strengths are, both as young people, but also in the way that they learn, the way that they study, and some strengths that may lead them to a possible major or paths of study when they're in college. We then will do individual meetings and advisory throughout the wintertime to go over those youth science results with our sophomores. In May, we invite all of our students and parents to set up an individual meeting with our office where we begin to talk about kind of college in a broader sense. We don't start talking about specific colleges yet, but we talk about course selection, progression of courses moving from sophomore to junior to senior year, standardized testing. We do talk a little bit about that as well. And then in the fall, all of our 10th graders are invited to a college fair that our sophomores and also our juniors attend. Ms. White is now going to talk to you all about the 11th and the 12th grade.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Libby Wythe, and I'm another Associate Director of College Counseling. Excited to be here with you all this evening. As Mr. Joel just said, I've been tasked with sharing a little bit about our 11th grade program and, of course, our program with our seniors. So 11th grade is when the deep dive really starts to begin. Not surprisingly, though, of the utmost importance are going to be grades. Doing well in those classes. We, of course, help with course selection again this year. And in addition to how students are doing in their courses, we want them to continue with their involvement, maybe step up into some leadership roles, really see how they're making an impact in our community at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes, or in the greater community, whether that's here in Alexandria or across the DC metro region. So these are some of the things that colleges are really looking at as they review applications. And so we're here to help shepherd the students through that process and ensure that they are working hard in those classes and keeping their involvement up. One of the great things is that in addition to serving as college counselors, the three of us, we actually serve as the junior class deans, which means that we do get to keep a close eye on the students' grades throughout the school year. So we're checking in on those progress reports, making sure that they're staying on track, helping them find, resources if they need help finding resources. So that's a really great perspective, especially as we begin this deep dive. So that begins right now. At this time of year, January, we are gearing up. Our 11th grade college night is next week. And so we'll host an evening event for all of our students and their parents. And then that kicks off all of our individual meetings, individual family meetings, where we're really beginning cultivating that college list for each individual student, getting everybody's input and starting to build to find the right match for each student. There are a number of college fairs throughout the year. In the fall, we partner with a lot of the area schools, a lot of the area independent schools in the spring for a college fair. Obviously, we have shifted to a virtual setting this year, which is actually going to be awesome and I think increase students' exposure. And we host workshops as well. So we have this very great day in April where we get to spend basically all day with our juniors, which is such a gift. And we get to work on things like applications and making sure that they are geared up for senior year so they can actually apply. Standardized testing is obviously woven through this. This is one of those pieces that is ever changing, as Dr. Carter mentioned. The test optional movement has taken off, which is very exciting. And so we really do sit down with each student and family and craft an individualized standardized testing plan. That's really an important piece. So, the spring of junior year is getting ready for senior year. So in 12th grade, thanks, John. In 12th grade, we actually kick off the year with 12th grade college night. So I know I'm going out of order from what's on the slide, but it makes sense to me. So we start the year with 12th grade college night. We host this event on the first night of school, which I know sounds crazy, but it's actually a great way to get senior year started. Bringing all of our students and families together we want it to be celebratory too and exciting, because it can be a really exciting journey. So really, it is about that individual touch, right? So we're holding student meetings weekly, sometimes daily if necessary. We are setting up an application timeline for each individual student. How are they applying to these colleges? Not just where, but how they're applying. And that involves walking them through applications, helping them check things over, make sure everything's right. We work with each of our students on their college essays. There's a lot of these as part of the process. And so we're here to help, be another pair of eyes. And then of course, help keep them on track with deadlines. There's a lot of moving pieces with the college application process. And so we're here to help with that. One of the other great events that we host every year is financial aid night. And we do this in the early fall, in early October, actually. And we bring in a local expert, somebody who works in a local financial aid office. And we let them take it away and share the tips and tricks and share their expertise on how to apply for financial aid for college. It can be a complicated process, but it's also an important piece of this process. And so we feel very fortunate that we're able to host this event every year. As the year continues, it's about decisions, which is always exciting, and making that final decision in the spring. And then, of course, as this awesome picture shows, these are some of my most favorite students, actually. Truly, commencement is one of our most happy days on campus, just such a joyful celebration. So, moral of the story is we're here every step of the way. As I said, meeting constantly with the seniors, especially throughout the entire year, and just making sure that they have the support and the guidance they need to stay on track throughout this whole journey. So I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Carter.
Thanks, Ms. Wythe, for that wonderful overview of kind of step-by-step how it goes through the grade levels in the upper school. One of the pieces that I referenced earlier was the fact that we really do try to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on in that ever-changing landscape of college admissions. And the way we do that is through our wonderful relationships with the folks in the colleges and universities. Every year, over 150 college reps come to visit St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School because our students are a commodity. They are desperately trying to get our students because they know how wonderful they are, how talented they are, and how well prepared they are for colleges. That is a tremendous advantage in the college process, because what that allows our students to do, especially in this day and age, when not every college has the manpower to or staffing to interview individually every applicant, it's FaceTime for our seniors and juniors as well, with those the people that are going to be reading that application, probably right there on the front line, that gatekeeper. They're going to have some FaceTime with that, and as you'll see later, because we get a chance to have some testimony from some of our current seniors, they sell themselves. So we want to put them in front of the college reps as much as we possibly can. Having those meetings, having that connection with the colleges also gives us the opportunity to develop lasting relationships and the personal contact in each one of those university admission offices. As Ms. Wythe mentioned, there are fall and spring college fairs where the bulk of the admission reps are in town, and we often see a lot of contact outside of the fairs with those individuals, and it's a great opportunity again to have some one-on-one contact, meet and ask some questions that are very specific. Um, Panel discussions, webinars, workshops. Uh, we love and have so many dear friends on the other side of the desk, as Mr. Doyle is referencing, and we are not shy about bringing those experts in to talk with our families, talk with our students, share their information as we teach everybody about the college process. So we definitely tap into that resource as well. Professional associations, the three of us are all active members in several professional associations that are both regional and national in scope, and include members from the college and university side. So we often develop very deep and long-lasting relationships with professionals on the other side of the desk, and share much of the work. Mr. Doyle is on a national committee for one of his associations. Ms. Wythe is on the executive leadership board of our regional college counseling association, and I'm on the board of that as well. So it's another way for us to develop those personal contacts, and then of course when we can. It's been a little difficult with COVID, but every once in a while, the three of us will sneak away and go out and visit colleges and tour campuses so that we can stay informed and up to date about what the opportunities are out there. Ms. Wythe actually serves on an advisory counselor for a major university as well, which is kind of part of that piece. So it is a big piece. It's bridging that gap. Our job as professionals in the college office is to make sure that our students go from high school to college, and we are there as that guide. And so we want to make sure that we have full knowledge of everything that we can on the other side. And next slide, Mr. Coons. Okay, programming and additional events. As if all the evening events weren't enough, the best way for us to advise is to have constant communication with our students and our families. As Ms. Wythe and Mr. Doyle already spoke of, we almost insist on weekly, if not sometimes daily meetings, especially as you go through the progression, as your child goes through the progression. We're here to answer questions, but the office puts out a monthly newsletter with timely information and updates about what's going on. At the beginning of every school year, every family will be given an updated college handbook that is kind of the Bible for our office. And if you can't get in touch with us, you can certainly look it up in our nifty handbook. And then throughout the year, we also offer a variety of information sessions, evening programs that are more topical in nature. In addition to the grade level nights, we offer programming on topics that range, and you can see on the slide, anything from NCAA recruiting, where we partner with the athletic office and our coaching staff, because the college office is a big piece of that. Students that might be interested in attending a service academy or obtaining an ROTC scholarship, we have programming on that. gap years or time off is something that we've also held events and programming on. We have many students that are excited and talented and want to take their skills as actors and artists to the next level. And we do programming on that, as well as standardized testing. As Ms. White referred to, standardized testing is intricately interwoven into the college process, into college admissions, but it is constantly changing. So we endeavor to educate our students and families about that when we can. So this is just an overview of what we do, but I do, as I conclude and before we go into the Q&A, and actually there's a bit of a clip with our current seniors that are going to talk about their experiences, but I would want to leave you with the fact that we love what we do. It's really a blessing and a privilege to deal with students as they progress from 9th grade to 12th grade, to get to know them, to help them along the journey, to get to know their families. And we are a resource. And we know that there's lots and lots of questions, and things happen at different times because you're dealing with students that are teenagers, and everything doesn't happen exactly at the same time, and it doesn't happen exactly the same way for each family, and questions pop up at different times. And we want you to know that we are here for you as a resource, so that there's somebody there to cheer your child on, to answer that question, and to support you as you go through this process.
All right, well, I am joined by two of our seniors who are towards the tail end of going through their college admission process. So we have Danielle Turnage and we have Zach Gunn with me here, who are going to give you a little bit of information about their experience going through our college admissions process. And Danielle and Zach, I was just curious, how useful do you feel the college office has been in helping you kind of navigate the college admissions process this year?
I can start. The college counseling office has been extremely helpful. We're super privileged to have 3 excellent college counselors here at St. Stephen's, St. Agnes. And they really help you along the way. They suggest colleges for you. They suggest majors for you based on your interests, and they help you stay on top of everything throughout the whole college process.
Yeah, and then going off what Zach said, the college office is so involved in the whole high school process. I think I started meeting with Mr. Doyle, my college counselor, in 10th grade. And since then, he's just been so helpful with helping me kind of create a list of colleges that I feel really confident in. And so I'm excited going forward.
That's awesome. And for both of you, what aspect of the college admissions process do you feel has helped you the most as you've kind of gone through this process?
I think the college counselors learning about each student on a personal level has really helped me. I have Miss White, and so by her learning about me and my interests, she was able to suggest which colleges she thought I would best fit in, and same thing with major. And they just really get to know the students on a personal level, which is something I really appreciate. Yeah,
I agree with Zach. And then also this year, because of COVID, we didn't have test scores. So that was kind of one aspect of our application that might have been missing. But I think the college office did a really great job in helping us still create a list that we know kind of what our reaches are, our target schools, and then our safeties. So I think that was the most helpful.
Absolutely. And what do you feel like was the turning point for you during the process at which you felt confident about your school options and what you might want to, say, study moving forward in college?
I think for me, it was when I was able to check off all of my individual boxes for the preferences that I had, and just knowing that I felt safe and on task with where I wanted to end up. I think that was really a turning point. I was able to know that I was going to end up in a school that had a good climate or was in an area that I liked and had the major that I liked and had the diversity and the just different aspects of each school. When I was able to check all of my boxes off and know that I was going to end up in a good place, that was really a turning point for me because I knew I was set.
Yeah, I totally agree with Zach on that point. But then also working with Mr. Doyle, he kind of gave me a sense of security. You know, I've never left home. And so finding a college that's going to be like a second home is it's a difficult thing. And it's a really big part of, you know, high school in general. I've been at St. Stephen's for my whole life. And so I think just knowing that I had one teacher in my corner and that was helping me throughout this whole process, that really helped me.
And my final question is, what is your favorite part, or what has been your favorite part working or going through the college counseling office and working with them so far?
For me, like I said earlier, just how they get to know each individual student on a personal level, both inside and outside the classroom. They're just super helpful. We had mandatory weekly meetings so that it really shows that they are there, they care, and they want to see you succeed. They are just always pushing you to achieve whatever goal you have. They send you scholarship information. They recommend classes that you should take. And so just knowing that they're always there in your corner so that you can succeed and achieve your goals is really satisfying for me.
And then I think my favorite part of working with the college office is just how involved they are. I know that I could email Mr. Doyle at any time. He would always come back with an email. And even if it wasn't about the college process, I can talk to him about anything. I think all three college advisors are super helpful. They're super kind. And yeah.
Thanks, guys. And we can't wait to find out what school is lucky enough to enroll you here for your start of your college journey. All right, and with that, now that you've had a chance to see or hear from some of our students, the student voices, and you've heard from our college office, now we would invite you, if you are here as a participant and viewing, we give you the opportunity now to ask some questions for our college office. And I do see that as a couple have already come in here. So I'm going to, I know we do have one here that came in just regarding the difference between a counselor and an advisor and a dean. I know that has been, there's a lot of titles going around, so I'm just curious to know if any of you can kind of maybe share a little bit about the differences there.
Sure, happy to answer that question. We are college counselors, and we will, as Mr. Doyle mentioned early on, we actually split the alphabet. I have students whose last names end in A through F. Ms. Wythe has students whose last names end in G through M, and Mr. Doyle has students whose last names end N through Z. That said, we work as a team, but we do that so that we get that individual attention and relationship over the time that the student is in the upper school. And it doesn't change based on numbers of students in the upper school, so that when somebody comes in ninth grade, or if they transfer in 11th grade, they're going to have us for the entirety of their upper school experience. At the same time, St. Stephen St. Agnes provides an advisor, an academic advisor, which is sort of like how we handle a homeroom. It's a group of about 7 or 8 students that are partnered with a faculty member, and that is somebody on the faculty that they have as who's an advocate and as another adult in the building that they can work with, and that's the advisory program. We often will come into an advisory or a class meeting to do some programming for the students while they're on campus. The deans are kind of a layer above the advisors. They're more concerned with the academic progress, monitoring the academic progress of the students. We have 3 academic deans per class: 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. And the 11th grade being the most important year for our students as they go through the college process. That is where we serve as the academic deans. So it is our privilege, and what that gives us is it really gives us that micro advantage of looking specifically at the really important, all significant junior year.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. We have a question in regarding, looks like for someone who might be transferring in. So for a student who might be transferring in, say as a junior, is it a challenge for the team to support the student in catching them up with some of the steps that your continuing students might have already taken in their college journey?
I'm gonna jump in here. I just actually met with one of our new juniors today, and this is not the first time that we've met. So as Mr. Doyle mentioned, we actually meet with every single incoming student in anticipation of the fall that they arrive to work on course selection. And that meeting is about, it's with mom and dad too, and it's really to dive in and get to know them, get to know what they've done at their previous school. As far as academics are concerned, and then of course to plan out what classes they're going to take. But it is a get to know you meeting as well, right? And we want them to know that we are here for them every step of the way and a resource for them. And so one of the things that we'll do is we'll make sure that those students have all the information that they need, right? We can talk about standardized testing at that point. We can talk about our graduation requirements at that point. And because our deep dive really begins junior year, those who join us at that point really aren't behind. As I said, I met with one of our great new juniors today. We had an awesome conversation. She updated me on how things are going, and we got to talk. And as we were talking, she goes, "Wow, I've done everything I'm supposed to do, right?" And yeah, she has. So she's right in line with her classmates. So and that's an important piece, and we're here to guide new students at whatever stage that they come and join us.
Thank you, Ms. Wythe. And another question that we have, is it common to have a senior not have a major chosen for college?
Yes. The undecided is the most popular, I think, major going forward. And I also, to be honest, it's the most honest answer. A lot of our students really love school. They're well prepared. They're engaged in all different kind of subjects. And if you ask them to pick their favorite, they wouldn't know yet. Which is, I think, a testament to the depth and breadth of our faculty. But of course, and how many people know exactly what they want to do, and then they go off, and by the end of their freshman year, they've changed majors and done something else. So it's certainly absolutely common and appropriate for a student to not necessarily know exactly what they want to do. It makes it a little bit more of a challenge, but a fun challenge for us to then really dig deep into what other type of experiences is the student going to be looking for. And many of our students will focus on liberal arts colleges because of the liberal arts preparation that they've had at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School. And they want to take their education to the next level with that.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Another question in regarding writing program support. Test optionality, as we know, increases the importance of application essays. So can you tell the audience a little bit more about the writing program and the support that students might receive in that regard?
Sure. We have, beginning in April of the junior year, we start in on the applications, the common application, the coalition application, and part of that very soon following after that is individual coursework that each counselor holds with the junior / rising senior to select an essay topic. We also offer through our summer programs, college essay camps, if you will, the multiple sessions throughout the summer when a student doesn't have any other distractions to focus on that for an entire week. And as both Mr. Doyle and Ms. Wythe were talking about earlier, we're working on almost a daily basis, certainly all fall with our seniors, because many colleges now, especially in test optional land, which we find ourselves because of the pandemic, not only is there the main college essay, but colleges have the hold the prerogative of asking supplemental questions. Why do you want to go to that university? And each of us work very closely in crafting those essays with each student, and we really get that's one of the fun parts because we really get to know the students extremely well.
Great. Another clarifying question regarding meeting the ninth graders. How many times do you typically meet, or does a ninth grader meet with their counselor?
We really, there's no specific meetings, necessarily individual meetings with ninth graders. They're going to be seeing us in morning meeting. If they have a question in ninth grade, if a family has a question in ninth grade or parents do, we are happy to answer those questions. We will meet with them actually twice, once before they become a ninth grader for course selection, so they get to know who we are, and then once in the spring of their ninth grade year to help them select courses for 10th grade. But as Mr. Doyle mentioned when he talked about the ninth grade program, our hope for the students in ninth grade is to not necessarily be focused on college just yet, but really getting their feet under them, making the most of their new experience, making friends, getting involved, getting the best grades that they can.
Thank you. And roughly speaking, what percent of students attend a university versus a liberal arts college? Not sure if you have that information, but.
It depends, with a little over 100 students per class. Each class has its own personality, and it really changes year to year. There are some years when we'll have half the class will go to small private liberal arts colleges, while the other half will go to a variety of different places, some major research institutions that are huge and have tens of thousands of undergraduates on campus. So it really runs the gamut, and that fits into our mission of helping find the right fit for each student, because everybody's different and everybody's looking for a different thing and a different experience after St. Stephen's and St. Agnes. One of the things, something I'm the most proud of is that every year our 110 plus students who graduate will attend 65 to 70 different institutions. So it really is that they're looking for the right fit, and they're looking to not all go to the same institution.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Carter. And another question, and this is regarding summer classes. Does the college office offer any summer classes for students at all?
For the rising seniors, we offer the college essay classes. And we're already working very closely with each student to complete the application. Our goal, and we've been very successful in achieving this in the past several years, is that by September 1st, or the first day of classes of senior year, every senior has met with us, sometimes late in the summer, but beginning in the spring, and their application is complete. Their basic common application is complete. So they're starting the school year ready to apply, and then they can focus on their academics and focus on being leaders in the school and their involvement in extracurricular activities. So it's not necessarily a class, but it's a personalized, there's a lot of personalized contact with our seniors or rising seniors over the summer with the counselors.
Thank you. And I believe this person might have, they may have been referring to other classes as well. So just for the audience to know, there are other summer classes that are offered, academic classes that are offered throughout the course of the summer as well. Another question is, how many schools does a student usually apply for or to?
Ms. White, do you want to take that one?
My favorite question. It's one of my favorite questions. It's a great question. So we like to aim for about 7 to 8. We would love to keep lists to 10, and we don't like to go much higher than that. As we remind the students, you can only deposit at one place. You only get to go to one school. We work really hard to ensure that the list of schools that the students end up applying to is a really balanced list. We use this very cool method, or this very cool approach to building that list, called 5 first choice colleges. And what that essentially means is that there should be 5 schools that meet their academic goals, that meet their social and cultural goals, that are financially a good fit, that their academic profile matches up with the academic profile of the students that are typically admitted to that university. And then those 5 schools should also be schools that they're really excited to attend, right? So from those 5, then we can build from there too. And so, as I said, we aim for a list of about 7 to 8. We don't love to go above 10 because you can only go to one school. But in building that list very carefully and having a lot of strategy behind it and finding those 5 first choice colleges, it means that the students have choices. And that's ultimately our goal. We want our students to have great options when it comes time to make that decision. And so that's where we all work together to make happen for our students.
Thank you, Ms. Wythe. Another question: do your students give feedback after college has been or has gotten underway?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Of course, yeah.
We're talking. Oh gosh.
Yep.
Speaking for myself, and my friends could probably say the same thing, especially with the class of 2020, and maybe because we've been in virtual land with them for so long, I talk to them all the time. I have a lot of friends, and we constantly, and I love it, and it's great, and they have wonderful feedback, and that's me.
The one thing that I can say from that perspective, and Doc mentioned a little bit, we won't say how long I've been here, but in my time, it doesn't matter where a kid goes to school. It doesn't matter whether it's a kid from the class of 91 or the class of 2020. We always ask them, were you prepared? Do you feel like you were prepared by attending our school? And they look and they smile and they go, Mr. Doyle, my roommate is sweating, doing 2-3 page papers 3 times a week. And that's stuff I've been doing since I was here with you all. So I'm more than prepared.
And it's one of our favorite things too. This year was a little different with COVID, but that end of the first semester in Christmas time, when we're doing lessons and carols, we have those our newest alumni come back, and it is one of my favorite times of the year because they come running back and they can't wait to tell us about all their experiences and everything they're doing. And again, that piece of us getting to know the colleges, we absolutely get to live vicariously through our students, and they're a great resource too. By the time, hopefully once the pandemic resolves itself to a certain extent, and we're back to whatever the new normal is, and students can visit campuses, our students would frequently go and visit and spend the night with one of our alums, and certainly reach out through social media if they were considering a school. Who better to ask than, hey, you were at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School. What's it like? Tell me all about it. So we are not shy about taking advantage of our alums who we love very, very much.
Thanks to all of you. And we have, it looks like, one more question here, and it's asking, does your college counseling office have a relationship with colleges and universities outside of the UK, of the US, like UK, Canada, etc.?
Can I take that one, Gabe?
Yeah, I'll let Mr. Doyle take that one.
Yes, we do. We send kids to McGill, to Queen's, University of Toronto. One of our best friends at the University of British Columbia has been a panelist for our junior day on several occasions. And so, yes, they do look at things a little bit differently, their timeframes and deadlines, how they're maybe holistically looking at a student can be a little different in the Canadian system. And also we remind our kids, they're large. There's not necessarily, smaller is not necessarily what they, it's there, but I mean, we're looking at schools typically in the 15,000 to 30,000 range of students. United Kingdom, we're not a member of UCAS, but we're able to help kids through that application process. We are starting to see some colleges moving to the common application. St. Andrews did that a couple of years ago, and now we annually, don't we send at least 1 or 2 kids to St. Andrews every single year. The British Council of Washington, D.C. is an amazing resource for us with regard to questions. And you may just be on a webinar with a particular UK college and you'll see a St. Stephen's and St. Agnes alum in that admission office on the other end. So you just never know. So yes, we do have, if we have students who are interested in pursuing, study abroad, we definitely are confident in helping them with that process.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. We have time for one more question, and it is just came in. Does the college admissions process consist of scholarships or scholarship information as well?
Yes, we maintain, we guide through the process, right? As I said, we have that college financial aid night, which does talk about scholarships as well. But we also maintain a list of great websites that provide information about outside scholarships. So these are scholarship dollars that are not provided by a specific college or university. Any student can apply for these and they can take them to any institution that they enroll at. And so actually, this is a lot of actually what we're doing right now with our seniors. I had about 3 separate emails today with seniors about the scholarship process and how to go about this, and had a meeting with a family this afternoon. So we kind of tackle the admission application side of things first. We do that in the fall. We knock that out of the way, and then we can turn our attention to applying for scholarships. And it's a process in and of itself, but we're here to review those essays. We're here to provide the supporting documentation that's required for those scholarships. In addition to the kind of list that we maintain of great websites, we're also notified throughout the year of different scholarship opportunities. Those will be emailed directly to us, and then we turn around and email them right out to the kids. I think you heard Zach Gunn mention that there were some great ones that came in right before the holiday. And I don't know, I think I sent Zach about 4 emails in the course of about 24 hours. He loves me, I swear. But it's great, right? And so they're coming all the time. And that's very much something that we keep our finger on and make sure that our students have that information as well.
Thank you, Ms. White.
Hey, John, there was one more follow-up question. It's actually in the chat though.
Oh, great.
Can you see that? It's a follow-up to the question that someone asked regarding, are kids choosing a major or going undecided or something, and asking about, the business school kind of piece. Mike and Libby, can you see that as well in the chat?
I can see part of it.
I can see. So the question, you want me to read it out?
Great.
asking about, is it more difficult to get into a specific school, like a business school or maybe an engineering school after freshman year than it is maybe getting in, as a freshman? So getting into those programs as a sophomore, maybe getting into them as a freshman. Mr. Royal?
Yeah, well, it really depends upon the school. I mean, clearly there are some schools we know that you have to apply to the School of Business. And if you don't get in for freshman year, it's going to be really, really tough, if not impossible, to get in. The schools are very upfront about that. There are other schools where there are different pathways there. There are schools like University of Georgia where no one can come in to the business school until after they've completed the end of their freshman year, and then you apply. So it's really more institutional based. And we can definitely guide a student and a family regarding that part. And again, there's some schools where it's a pre-engineering program where students will come in and explore and look around and take classes and then make a decision about what types of engineering they may want to continue to move on to, and then perhaps look at the master's programs as well for that particular area of study. So it's really institutionally based. And again, business and engineering, those are the two top majors in the United States right now. So yes, the competition is more so for those. So yes, if a student knows that that might be an area of interest, getting into that school of business would be great as a freshman, because that way they wouldn't be maybe adding an extra semester or year onto their undergraduate studies. That was a good question.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. Just wanted to again thank you all for attending another edition of our Saints webinar information series. Thank you to our wonderful college counselors who again just amaze us with the information that they have and how they're able to really provide our students a steadfast and steady approach to guiding them through the college admissions program and the process. So thanks again to all of you for attending. As you can see here, if you have any questions for our college counseling office, please do email Dr. Carter. His email address is mcarter@sssas.org. But until next time, we again thank you for joining us this evening, and have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon. Take care, folks.